They found some footage in the pocket on the phone of a dead man. It shows a red fire engine and clearly marked ambulances driving at night using headlights and flashing emergency lights. If that phone had not been found in that poor soul's pocket, the IDF would still be claiming that they had opened fire because the vehicles were moving suspiciously. Gunfire erupts and the screen goes blank. 15 Palestinian paramedics and rescue workers, including at least one UN employee, were killed. The UN has subsequently said that Israeli forces shot the men one by one and then buried them in a mass grave.
Israel is now claiming it may have been mistaken with its initial account of the massacre that IDF forces carried out when they shot and killed 15 Palestinian paramedics, civil defense workers, and a UN staff member, and then buried their bodies in a shallow grave near Rafah. And of course, Israel's now claiming that they will be sure to investigate themselves, and the only reason that they're saying any of this right now is because video footage was released from one of the men who was murdered, showing that these individuals were not only in uniform, but they were in clearly marked vehicles with their lights on, and that everything that Israel said about these vehicles approaching them at night suspiciously, that was all a lie, that never happened, and that it was clear murder carried out by Israeli forces, targeting paramedics and humanitarian aid workers, as one of those men was heard on the video with his dying words crying out to his mother, begging for her forgiveness, telling her he's sorry, that he just wanted to help people, that's why he chose to be a paramedic.
هذه الطريقة اللي اخترتها يما إني أساعد الناس. سامحيني يما سامحيني، والله ما قبلت هذا الطريق إلا لأساعد الناس. يا رب تب علي، يا رب إن كتبتني من الشهداء تقبلني.
This is the situation that we're seeing right now in the Gaza Strip. This is how Israel is and has been treating not just paramedics and humanitarian aid workers, but doctors, journalists, any individual in Palestine that is openly helping other individuals and or documenting the genocide that is carrying out before our eyes. They are the ones who are being openly targeted by Israel.
Israeli forces are under intense pressure to explain the deaths 10 days ago of 15 emergency workers who were killed during a call-out in their Red Crescent ambulances in Gaza, after accusations some may have been executed. The bodies have only been recovered recently. Colleagues who retrieved them believe some had their hands and even their feet bound before they were killed.
ITV News has obtained these pictures showing Sunday's retrieval of the bodies of the 15 rescue workers killed by the IDF in southern Gaza a week earlier. The dead were in ambulances and a fire engine and were responding to an overnight emergency call-out. The bodies of the men and the remains of their vehicles stayed buried and untouched for a week because it took that long for the IDF to allow a recovery operation to take place. The footage we obtained shows one of the recovery team claiming to have found evidence that the dead man he's helping to dig out had been tied up before being killed. This is a civil defense member. His legs were tied. I just untied his legs. This is an execution. He took these photographs which appear to show bindings on a victim's wrist. 8 of the 15 killed were paramedics.
You're murdering those poor Palestinians to take more of their goddamn land. I'm going to be safe after I take this land and this land and this land.
The ultimate outcome should be for Judea and Samaria is complete Israeli sovereignty over the entirety of it from top to bottom.
Arabs, who cares about them? Well, I care, and all decent Americans should care.
Right, unite on this one topic of recognizing that it's really wrong what's happening in Palestine, and this is such, to me, just a humanitarian issue, humanitarian approach, and they're trying to win this issue with smears, and it's crazy, and you're a perfect example of that. So when the Israel-Palestine thing happened, you were very clear about your position on this because you were so sensible about speaking about why it is that Americans would not feel allegiance to Israel, which is our right. It is so weird that they think that they're going to try to psychologically convince us that we have no right to not support a foreign nation by calling everybody anti-Semitic.
The federal government must take urgent steps to address this crisis. The anticipated passage of the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act is a crucial measure that will help define and combat anti-Semitism in educational institutions. The adoption of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism is another necessary step, as it provides a clear framework for recognizing and addressing anti-Semitic incidents.
To watch them do, and then we're just going to pass censorship laws. 350 million of you are just not going to be able to say anything bad about Israel.
War with fucking Israel 100 times over, and instead we're just sending them money, and it's fucking craziness.
Look at the state of Israel, look at the state of Tel Aviv, and look at the state of Philadelphia. You tell me where this money's going. You tell me who's benefiting from this.
I am prepared to die in the battle, fighting this monstrosity that would wish to enslave me and my family and steal away any rights to my property and to take away my God. Go fuck yourself. Will I submit to that?
And if you've got a foreign state, you've got dual citizens in your government, who do you think they're supporting?
Why do you support Israel against, for example? Why do you support America giving them billions of dollars?
Well, I don't. I don't want the United States involved in anything that's morally indefensible or counter to its own interests.
Happened to the children and the women of Palestine is a perfect act of evil, and I will not support it. I will not support it because I am a Christian.
In the specific case of Israel, I hate the fact that civilians are killed with American weapons. I hate it. I hate it in Gaza.
There's no reason to think we're ever going to convince them, but we can put them in jail, we can make their lives miserable, we can cut off their funding.
This is my country, my birthright is free speech, and if you're telling me what I'm allowed to say in my country, you're my enemy.
I'm not gonna bend the knee to Israel. I will never bend the knee to evil.